Meanwhile, hospital authorities at the accident unit of the Korle Teaching Hospital say that 2 injured residents are responding so far to treatment.
Principal Nursing Officer Vida Odonko, however, says they may live with the trauma for the rest of their lives.
2 victims were brought.
And what is the extent of damage done to them injury-wise?
One person has severe head injury and one has a stab wound on the chest. Currently, both of them are not quite stable. They are not quite stable.
When you say not quite stable, how alarming is the situation?
It's that they are patients that cannot go home, at least not for today. Yes.
So
we are detaining them and we want the specialists to come and take a look at them, and then we'll manage them as the specialists will decide.
For how long will they be here?
For the one that was stabbed in the chest, I hope within the next 2 days he might be able to go home. But the one with the head injury, he will have to stay for some time. I wouldn't know how long he will stay. The neurosurgeons will have to decide on that.
Will they have to undergo any form of surgeries?
I wouldn't stick my neck out, but it looks like he's bleeding inside. They've done a CT scan. The surgeon will have to come and take a look at that one. Then he will decide what he wants to do, whether he will go in for surgery or he will manage conservatively.
Will they suffer any lifelong deformities as a result of the incidents?
Well, some of these incidents, especially with the head injuries, yes, most patients eventually suffer long-term. Some people will end up with fits in the long term. Others will be fine.
In all of this, who is bearing the cost?
It's difficult to say that at the moment. The neighbors that brought the patient and then the hospital. So far we've managed them without cash. Some of the drugs, the IV fluids, we had to collect from the pharmacy. Without them, we had to go in for credit.
Away from this subject, a 20-year-old Togolese man is in police custody for allegedly murdering and defiling a 7-year-old girl at a shaman here in Accra.
The body of the deceased was only discovered days after the man had dragged her into his room. Beatrice Edu visited the community and has come through with this report.
It's a Tuesday morning, and the death of the 7-year-old girl, whose name has been withheld, is the only thing the family members want to talk about. Auntie of the girl, Doris Mensah, tells us how it happened.
Since Sunday, and upon a minute, Karani, Nayetna, yes, Mimi, see, no, almost quatana, no, see, almost sauce. And Mimi, Vietnam is Mpedemukuch, Manostamina, Quechi, na Oba Obeto Manguade, Abremi. Na mikoye ntimi mikoya mebano na omofrem me say minya ko na mpike me sister pen.
We sent her to get bread for us on Sunday morning. When we finished washing, after several hours, she didn't come back. Then we started searching for her. It was during the search a young girl told us she saw the guy dragging her into the kiosk. After that, she heard her scream, so we should check. We found her dead. The guy confessed she killed her, slept with the cops afterwards for money. We want the police to take this case seriously.
Obiru no omuba ne pai say onkum nu na obema na dan na ya san amane car account onkum nkora miensa na ofama omu. Yen pese asem be fruit case ntimpemfu yesram yede omani yede ni didi mam yesram mbo ahen na asem we.
She's concerned abduction of children is becoming a worrying phenomenon in the neighborhood. Neighbors here agree. Alice, who is a resident, tells me she is scared for her own children.
It could be me, it could be you. Let's do something about it. Let's just don't say it for now and leave it behind. It's unfair.
If you say this is not the first time, how many cases have you heard?
For now, I've heard about 4 cases at my top here. They used to come, please, have you seen a little girl, a little boy? This is not the first time. One even complained this morning they've not seen the child yet. So we should just open our ears. If we see a child missing or a child being murdered somewhere, we should come and call them. And this is going on in this area.
I can see you're becoming emotional whilst you're talking. Any reason?
Yes, I also have children. I used to send them, we have 2 houses, I used to send them to the other house. What if the child is going, they just kidnap him or kill him on the way?
Right behind me is the kiosk, the container, where the 20-year-old man is alleged to have killed her allegedly and defiled her afterwards. And when you look through the window, you'd realize that he's partitioned the small kiosk into a chamber and a hall. And what we've been told is that when the police actually went in there, they saw a number of clothes belonging to children, blood in the clothes, as well as flip-flops for these children. For now, the case has been transferred from the Tema Regional Police to CID headquarters in Accra for further investigations, while the man remains behind bars. Beatrice Edu, Joy News, Ashaiman.
So we'll bring you a lot more on that very story and an insight into what really happened during that very period at Atadikani Ashaiman.
You know, the young lady in there echoed the concerns of a lot of people. This should not become a foolish case.
Sure.
You know,
hopefully
we should see to the end of this one.
We'll still have to remain on the subject of security.
Interior Minister Mahwoyongo is at the head of a delegation to Bumpurugu Yonyo in the northern region, where ethnic clashes in the community last week claimed 2 lives.
The delegation will also be meeting parties to dialogue on how they can broker peace in the area. A 4 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew has been placed on the area in an attempt to avert further clashes and destruction of property. Said Kwame Boateng is traveling with the delegation.
Bumpurugu happens to fall under your traditional jurisdiction. And I must say that what happened the previous week did not amuse a lot of Ghanaians, because we thought that we have had enough of this unwanted destruction of property and killing of human beings. And I am here to inform you I'll be passing on to Bumpurugu to look at the destruction that has been caused, and then look at the security situation on the ground, and then also admonish my brothers and sisters to give peace a chance. We destroy them during conflict or crisis situations. We cry because of poverty. The little money we have, we are rushing to go and buy arms and ammunition to kill each other. Nairi, I want to make a special appeal to you. Nalerugu, Gambaga have been very peaceful. I want to appeal to you to ensure that the other traditional areas under your jurisdiction enjoy the same peace as Gambaga and Nalerugu enjoy the peace. That is my special appeal to you. Let me also use this opportunity to say that we have this serious proliferation of arms into this part of the country.
The UN Special Envoy for West Africa, Dr. Mohamed Ibn Chambers, has downplayed calls for broad stakeholder consultation in the appointment of a new electoral commission for Ghana.
And Dr. Ibn Chambers, who is also a former Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, believes once the Constitution clearly stipulates how the EC boss must be appointed, doing anything else aside that will amount to an infraction. He spoke to our colleague, Felix Akoyam.
Debate about who replaces Ghana's longest-serving Electoral Commission chairman and the processes leading to that appointment has raised some concerns. The MPP, PPP and some civil society groups have called for broader consultation before the new electoral commissioner is appointed, but Dr. Chambers said the Constitution clearly stipulates how the EC boss must be appointed, and anything beyond that constitutional mandate is a violation of the laws of Ghana.
I don't understand what is meant by a broad stakeholder consultation process. I would assume that the president, in his wisdom, before taking such a major decision, naturally will consult. But to call for a broad stakeholder, I mean, somebody with a legal mind, I'm careful not to slip into, are we asking for a meeting at the Accra Sports Stadium or what?
The opposition, for instance, is saying they don't want to question the integrity of the EC again, and that's why they are calling for a broad stakeholder.
That's an important issue to raise, that it should be somebody who, when he's selected, will be acceptable to all the players.
Dr. Chambers points out whoever is appointed as the new EC boss must be independent-minded with the highest form of integrity to consolidate Ghana's democratic gains.
Just frankly a normal criteria for selecting a referee. A referee should be someone who is independent-minded, who, once the rules are clear, will follow those rules in arbitrating between two or several contending parties. And it should be somebody also who cares about their dignity.
Felix Akoyam, Joy News.
Oh, we have our views too.
Okay, what is the view that
I think we should follow the Constitution on advice of the Council of State.
No broader consultation, stakeholder consultation.
We can consult behind, but all this thing you are doing on the public platforms, it's not necessary.
But you know, this has become an issue.
The chairman of the Electoral Commission of Ghana cannot manipulate elections in Ghana again. When you do it, we'll have clashes.
What do you mean again?
We just did clashes.
Okay, all right, I'll leave it there. We have to move elsewhere now. The Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana is blaming depression and even in some cases death of its members on the non-payment of claims by the National Health Insurance Authority, the NHIA. The society's president, James Ohiming-Che, who made the claim at a media briefing here in Accra, said some of his members are threatening to unilaterally deny service to NHIA subscribers if the debts are not settled soon. Hannah Dami has more in the next report.
Mr. Ohiming-Che lashed out at the NHIA, which he says has lost its focus and is venturing into project it should not. He mentioned, for instance, the construction of hospitals and training centers by the authority as non-essential.
Whilst they don't find money to pay claims of our members, they are able to find money, fund non-essential and non-core projects. Take biometric registration. Is it urgent? When you haven't paid your providers, is it necessary for you to embark on biometric registration? What value does it add? If you are able to pay all your claims and you have extra money and you use it to undertake biometric registration, we don't have a problem with that. But when you have not been able to pay your claims for 8 to 10 months and people are suffering, then how on earth do you go and put up buildings in health training institutions? Is that your core duty?
Mr. Ohiming-Che revealed how a member died because he got depressed by a 10-month delay in the payment of his claims.
Suppliers do not want to give them credit again. That we even had to lose one of our colleagues from depression because the NHIA had not paid him for so many months.
But has that been confirmed that it was due to the depression?
Yes.
He challenged the NHIA chief executive to fulfill the promise he made on Joy News in February that all claims will be paid by the close of March.
It's the CEO of the National Health Insurance Authority who gave an ultimatum to himself that by end of March 2015, all claims in arrears in 2014 will be paid. That has not been done. We have made an appeal to him to redeem his pledge. If he doesn't we'll advise ourselves.
Meanwhile, some pharmacists tell Joy News they have already stopped accepting the insurance cards.
I have stopped, not that I'm writing, it was serious loss to me.
How many months were you owed?
It was about 6 to 8 months.
The NHIA is owing us about 9 months in arrears, and the money involved is so colossal that at the moment all my savings in the bank has eroded.
But you haven't stopped, so
I haven't stopped.
And you are in debt. So how are you running your business?
It will come to a time when I would also stop.
Claims payments by the NHIA continue to be one of the major problems facing the authority. Deputy Health Minister Victor Bampo has indicated government is planning to seek a bailout to settle the claims.
In fact, government has started doing things urgent. Number one is to do what you call the bailout. So, find money to rapidly reduce the pressure that the providers are feeling. And this is something that is going on already.
NHIA subscribers will meanwhile be hoping the patients of service providers, such as the pharmacies, will not wear thin. My name is Hannah Odame for Joy News.
We still have to remain on health, this time mental health.
And the acting CEO of the Mental Health Authority says Ghanaians should demand to know the mental health status of their leaders.
Dr. Togolese believes the sound-mindedness of leadership translates into the general well-being of the country. He was speaking to Joy News on the sidelines of the launch of the first anniversary of the Mental Health Authority.
Being of sound mind is a constitutional requirement for any person seeking public office in Ghana. Nonetheless, it is unclear how this has been checked, especially of our public officers over the years. On the back of this mandatory requirement, Acting Chief Executive Officer of the Mental Health Authority is urging Ghanaians to request to know the mental health status of their leaders. Dr. Togolese believes public officers' mental status determines Ghana's development pace.
And indeed, we should get there. For instance, if the Constitution says that a person of sound mind is only a person of sound mind, frankly, before anybody contests any public office, we should ensure that he's really of sound mind. How do you ensure that? Go through psychiatric screening. Go through psychiatric screening. Because, frankly, some of the policies we get coming out of our policymakers, and you wonder, are these policymakers people of sound mind who could have given us such policies? These are real issues. You look at some laws, you look at some agreements, international agreements that we put our heads as a nation, trap ourselves, and you wonder, just is it just because you want money that will come to you, or there's something more? Maybe something's not up right here then. These are real issues, and one of these is you need to bring it up very strongly.
The mental health bill was passed a year ago to enhance mental health care delivery. A year down the lane, the authority still has financial challenges that threaten to thwart its efforts, in spite of assistance from the Department for International Development.
We don't have money on our own, and we are using DFID funding. DFID funding has limitations, and that is one such limitation, that we cannot use their money to train personnel outside. But in service, I mean, like training within workshops or in-service training, that can be done. So as we work towards getting our own fund established, then you'll be able to use that to train both within and outside any caliber of personnel that we want. So that will be there. But for now that we don't have our own fund, we are limited. But that's why we are quickly working towards getting the fund established. We are launching it on Saturday and hopefully.
1 of every 5 Ghanaians is said to suffer from one mental illness or the other, including depression and schizophrenia, though a 2009 report suggests 700,000 Ghanaians suffer severe forms of mental illness. For the 700,000 Ghanaians who need mental health care, there exists only 14 psychiatrists to cater for their needs across the country, making it a ratio of 1 to 50,000. For Joy News, Kemini Nyamani Amano.
I'm just wondering how we'll go asking our leaders of the status, of their mental health status. How do you ask that? They should put it in their manifestos.
I can imagine as we're showing the subject of leadership and mental health, then we're showing pictures of some leaders and things. I'm sure when we finish the news, we'll be in trouble.
No,
but talking about mental health, I wanted to check. Are you okay? You're a leader.
Listen, I don't.
Mama, are you okay?
I don't mind. I can go and do a test. But this is what I'm saying. The political parties can put it in their manifestos. We want to know the flag bearers, the mental health conditions of such persons. The executive, when they go for vetting, see, that's the point where they can make a disclosure as well. When we have, like ECG boss or VRA boss, those kind of appointments, they should also disclose it when they go for the interviews.
Talking about ECG, especially when the lights are taken indiscriminately. Are
you linking the two?
I'm asking a question.
Okay,
when the lights are taken indiscriminately, is that madness or what?
Good morning to all the bosses at ECG. We're not saying that.
All right.
Okay, but one more thing before we wrap up the AM news. I'm picking this from myjoyonline.com. It says that a 7-member jury is expected to be constituted at the Accra High Court today, Wednesday, to hear a case of rape brought against Kwesi Cheidakwa KKD. This means the Ace broadcaster will today come face to face with the persons who will determine his fate in the 5-month-long legal tussle. We will give you details of that when the court starts hearing this one right here on Joy News. But it's a wrap for the AM News, brought to you by
Coca-Cola.
Yeah, it's served chilled. And I give you the little trick. When it's doom cry, you still can have it chilled.
You won't have ice block.
AM News was brought to you by
Coca-Cola. Open happiness.